Chilly days are here, so take it easy on your landscape watering. The mandatory watering schedule is in effect November through February. You can water grass, plants, and trees, but only one assigned day a week. You know, your grass can thrive with less water during the colder months, and your drip irrigated plants and trees, well, they could do even better with watering only once every 7 to 14 days. For more winter watering tips and to find your assigned watering day, visit snwa.com. SNWA is a not-for-profit water agency. Hard to believe Halloween's in the rearview mirror, but I'm looking. The candy's gone. There's a chill in the weather sneaking up, and well, the news is getting weirder and weirder. So here we are on the Friday News Roundup. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm joined by executive producer Sonia Cho Swanson and co-host Sarah Lohman, and we're talking more drama on the Henderson City Council, and now with a felony charge. Is nuclear testing coming back to Southern Nevada? Oh no. And a missed or canceled plane trip is coming for you. So what you gonna do? It's Friday, November 7th. I'm David Figler, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Sarah and Sonia, welcome to the Friday News Roundup. I forgot who you guys were for a second.
Good morning. Good
morning, David.
Hi.
Great to see your smiling faces as we're in the home stretch of the year that seems like it will never end. This has been 6 years in 1 year.
Approximately 7, I think, is the number that I recall.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm feeling good and hopeful for the first time in a while. We had a really good Democratic turnout election this week. And,
What, you're left-leaning, Sarah Lohman?
I know.
I had no idea.
Surprise, everybody. But I'm really happy with the people who got to office. I think they're good people. Love
All
that.
right.
Yeah,
Well, we always
yeah.
hope that our electeds are good people, which is going to put a nice little foreshadowing gloss on the topic we're
first
talking
story.
about today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, before we get started, I actually have some listener feedback about Wednesday's episode on Carter Hart. That was something that David and I did with CBC reporter Kate Dubinsky. The listener pointed out that our conversation focused on Hart's second chance, but not what this narrative means for victims of sexual assault. So I found that feedback really important. She herself is a victim of sexual assault and really wanted to make sure that the victims' narratives are really focused on here. So, you know, I really stand by what we said in our episode, but I know there's a lot missing there too. It honestly could have been a 2-hour-long conversation. So I just want to end this note by sharing what the listener wrote in and said. She said, I wish the episode had explored that reality, how it feels for survivors to watch institutions, fans, and media rush to rehabilitate a man's image. That's the conversation our city and sports culture needs to have.
Word.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%.
So we always welcome listener feedback. Feel free to email us at lasvegas@citycast.fm. You know, these are conversations that are ongoing. They're long and they're ongoing. So please, you know, write in on your thoughts on any of our episodes. We always read them.
Yep. And when things land in our community, we're going to talk about them. And as we do like to start the Friday News Roundup every time with a hot headline.
Hot headline.
Hot headline.
I don't want to
Oh.
go too hard because I'm sad about sexual assault, honestly.
Oh.
Okay,
We can't
fair
follow
enough.
up that with like tearfulness immediately.
Well,
Well,
the
I
hot
mean,
headline is
nothing
not that
really-
happy either.
No,
so
no.
yeah.
And actually,
Appropriate.
we got two quickie hot headlines. The first one is that there was a jury verdict in the case where the individual who was killed during the Black Lives Matter protesting, he was armed, but the big question for the jury was whether or not he pointed any weapons at anyone before he was killed by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. The jury ruled in favor of the person who was killed and awarded a $6.5 million settlement against Metro, leaving many more questions. Will Metro accept responsibility? Will they change any of the way they proceed when it comes to these type of situations? Will anybody be held accountable at Metro, et cetera, et cetera? The other hot headline is it looks like the cyber attack that hit our state is kind of over. A report was released by the government saying that while ransom was demanded, they did not reveal how much it was. They said they did not pay it, but it cost about $1.5 million to bring us back online. They said that this attack started actually way back in the spring. They thought they had it contained, but obviously they didn't. As much as I want to trust the government that everything is sunny and they did all the right things here, hopefully there will be somebody who scrutinizes that report to see where things failed and if the response was as sunny as this report suggests that it was. I think the governor wants to take credit that he handled it expertly, but maybe that's for critics to look at.
I'm shocked that it started in spring and we didn't hear about it for months. That is very surprising to me.
That's when the breach occurred. That's when the malware, according to this report, the malware was opened by some employee that gave the malevolent actors the portal into our world.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
We all get those trainings, y'all.
I know.
Can't download files. You're supposed to call and be like, hey, did you actually send me this link?
So the report does look like the people who are trying to extort money made many steps towards getting to that end and then just gave up, which, again, seems a little unlikely, but I'm hopeful that that is actually a true and accurate accounting of what happened, that no important information was breached. All right, well, let's get into the craziness of politics. Sarah, you've got a story out of your hometown, Henderson.
Yep.
The city council drama continues. Please explain.
Well, it is serious, but also honestly kind of silly. So this is from reporting from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Henderson councilwoman Carrie Cox was indicted on Wednesday.
On
a felony charge.
Wow.
Yeah.
After authorities accused her of hiding behind a curtain to record a conversation.
What?
In the legal brief document, it actually says concealing herself behind a curtain to illegally record a conversation involving fellow councilwoman Monica Larson. The conversation was allegedly at a retirement celebration for city manager Richard Derrick, and it was a dispute that was being recorded. And yes, I assume she was caught because her little feetsies stuck out the bottom of the curtains. You know?
Wait, that curtain's moving.
Yeah.
Well, not very sophisticated felony.
I think I've seen a cartoon about this.
Yeah. I didn't know this, but Nevada has laws about spilling tea. So listen up, everybody. So state law makes it a felony to intrude on the privacy of others by surreptitiously monitoring or trying to monitor their private conversations. So not just recording. Are you listening in? And then the law also prohibits disclosing details about those conversations without permission. So if you hear something, no, you didn't, because you can be indicted with a felony charge.
My goodness.
It's all about surreptitious. So, I mean, if you're in the room and they're being really loud about it, I think you're covered. It's when you're trying to hide underneath the table.
It's on you. If you're pretending not to listen, if you want to listen to someone else's first date, you got to be like, what? Huh? You got to be there. That's honestly the only conversations that I surreptitiously
just make eye
monitor.
contact. I made eye contact.
Awkward eye contact?
Awkward eye contact. That's Exhibit A.
Listen, back in January, this is not the first time that Cox has had some issues. Back in January, it was reported on, we talked about Mayor Michelle Romero accused Cox of spreading rumors about extramarital affairs and threatened Cox with legal action. That didn't pan out. But yeah, Cox was spreading rumors saying Romero was having extramarital affairs. It was messy.
Henderson City Council is kind of known for being a little messy. We did a whole episode about this, right?
Yeah. I mean, the one that Sarah didn't mention was that Councilwoman Larson, who is at the center of this. She's the named victim in the indictment, who is a relative newcomer to the city's political scene, was accused by her own constituents of following them around, pretending to be neighborhood watch.
What?
Yeah.
Just driving her car, slow rolling.
Yeah. And there was all sorts of allegations back and forth about misconduct. There were attempts at protective orders. It was really kind of another funny, creepy, weird, sad story out of the Henderson City Council.
I have to say, living in Henderson, and I have since I've moved here, it is so calm. It's very quiet. There's a lot of community care on the part of our city government too. They're doing all kinds of amazing updates in my neighborhood with all kinds of notice. It just seems very normal, but reading out this story, it feels like there should be women pulling each other's hair on the sidewalk. You know what I mean?
You mean it's not real council people of Henderson out there?
No, and I live really close to City Hall too. So like,
so you
I
don't
would love
see
to
your
see a
city
little more action.
councilwoman driving around with makeshift flashing yellow lights on the top of her car, stalking
what?
you?
David,
Allegedly.
to be honest with you, I have no idea what these people look like. So
fair
if
enough.
I'm being stalked by my councilwoman or someone else, I wouldn't know the difference.
Not to
be
say that
honest.
she stalked anyone. It's just there's been a lot of reporting out of the Henderson City Council.
And I don't have any curtains. So hot tip.
God.
Where are you going to hide?
No one can record you from behind a vertical blind. You'll see them, you know?
That's so
Yeah.
smart.
Thank you, Sonia.
Taking notes over here.
That is why I don't have curtains, you know?
Well, I mean, look, I'm not going to deny that there is an instinct to laugh about all this. After all, it is Henderson. It gets kicked around so much. But in what ways is this, I don't know, entertaining and maybe also deeply disappointing?
Well, it just seems so petty, right? And that's what makes it kind of funny to me. But that's also what makes it kind of sad.
Cox is stirring the pot. Again, I don't know her. She seems to like to stir the pot. And unfortunately, apparently within the state, stirring the pot and spilling the tea is sometimes illegal. So like, check up on your laws, everybody. And you probably should if you're a city councilwoman. I mean, I can't even like compare these incidents to like the national political environment because this just seems like so like, okay, everybody.
It's small fry.
Yeah, but it's also like so nuts. You're just like, what is happening? Although, like, I think to a certain extent, I always wonder if to like be a politician, sometimes you have to be like so megalomaniacal or so self-absorbed to be like, yes, I can rule the world. Maybe sometimes we get incredible people in office who are okay with like both caretaking, being a leader, being a center of attention, being outgoing constantly. Yeah, be open to criticism. And sometimes we apparently get people who are going to hide behind a curtain.
Allegedly.
A curtain. We don't know. She could have been standing on a chair so that people didn't see her feet.
It might not have been her. Those are someone else's shoes.
Allegedly.
She's a size 6. I don't know. I don't know. Right now, it's all just mere allegations.
I just wish we had more details. Like, did someone like then whip the curtain open and be like, Carrie? Gotcha.
Or it's like, oh, it's time to clean the curtains. Let me grab the paddle. And then she came out, no.
Okay.
I don't even know. Speaking of confusion, here's something I didn't think we would be talking about ever again. Nuclear testing in Southern Nevada. Sonia, how did this come back into the conversation?
Yeah. So last week, President Trump posted on Truth Social that he had directed defense officials to, quote, start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis with other nuclear countries. And then he reiterated that in the 60 Minutes interview that aired on Sunday. So on Monday, our Democratic delegation, our 2 Democratic senators.
Why do we care?
Oh, this is testing that happens in the desert in Nevada, 65 miles north of Las Vegas, at the Nevada National Security Site.
Mm-hmm.
Just north of Creech and what's that altar that's out there in Commune?
Altar in Commune?
Looking at you, David. Yeah, come on.
There's a commune?
Bastet? Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're off. What is it called? Okay, hang on. Altar. I'm looking it up.
If you go out there, please stop at this commune.
Or anyone can stop by
and check it out.
Alien jerky? I mean, what do they have?
No, you just chill.
Well, you look that up, and I'm going to keep going with the story because on Monday, our Democratic delegation in Washington, our 2 senators and 3 Democratic congresspeople in D.C. sent a letter to the Trump administration demanding clarification.
Yeah.
Being like,
just
hey,
say,
y'all,
hell no.
What's going on with this?
I hope it ended.
And then, of
hell
course,
no.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright backtracked and he told Fox News, it's just, quote, system test and, quote, non-critical explosions and not nuclear explosions. And people in the Nevada desert, don't worry, you're not going to see any mushroom clouds. Our Dems in D.C., by the way, are not buying this. They say that he's covering for the president. They want to hear it from the president himself. They also want reassurances that the moratorium on testing
that word is bond.
Is
that word
in
is
place.
Bond.
Well, fair. But the thing is, we've had a moratorium on testing globally since the 90s. The last U.S. nuclear test was at the Nevada test site in 1992. That was the final full-scale nuclear weapons test in the United States. Russia and China have also not carried out any testing like this since 1990 and 1996, respectively. So, I mean, globally, for someone like our president to say that they want to resume nuclear testing, this has huge, huge, huge implications globally, internationally, and also right here in the desert for people in Las Vegas.
Well, let's focus on that. What are the implications for Southern Nevada if nuclear testing resumes?
First of all, it's the Temple of Sekhmet.
Poor Sekhmet Temple.
It's a temple of goddess spirituality. It's open to the public. Have a stop by when you're on your way up there.
Sweet.
Listen, so I have also been on the you could take tours of the nuclear test site here in Nevada. You have to sign up through the government, obviously not happening now, federal shutdown, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a silo there for a nuclear test that was being prepped when we ended nuclear testing in the 90s. And basically, it's wild because you could go in there and everything is sort of like the nuclear material isn't there. Like it's being prepped for the delivery of
Allegedly.
what they were testing. But everything was just left because they assumed that this was going to be a temporary stop and they'd be back at it in 2 weeks. And now, here we are 40 years later, 30 or 35 years later, and it is still standing
33
there.
years later.
33 years later specifically. We'll say 30. Upwards of 30 years. Everything is still standing there. And now it's, used as like a historical site. Mm-hmm. Different people have different reactions on that tour. Mine was kind of like horror and depression. It's a very trippy place to visit in that every footage you've seen of a nuclear blast has basically been filmed there. So everything looks familiar without ever having been there before. I don't think that putting that kind of radiation into the ground is good for anyone. And again, for people who don't know, they don't test them above ground anymore. The tests are done under the earth.
Yeah, we weren't going to see mushroom clouds no matter what. That was a very weak assurance from the Department of Energy.
And it's very rare that there were mistakes made, but when they are and were made, it was pretty shockingly detrimental. And I think now that, that lies just north of a city of 2.4 million people, who wants that? And why would we? I mean, the answer is he's just talking out of his ass because he wakes up in the middle of the night and is like, what is going to make me seem like scary and powerful? What would make it seem more like the 1950s? Oh, nuclear bombs. And he just says shit. And the people around him let him say shit. That's it.
Well, our delegation is taking it serious, right?
I mean, can I just say that, of course our delegation is taking it seriously. Even though he just says stuff, then he actually does the stuff that he says he's going to do. So I'm really happy to see our delegation from the state, not just brushing this off.
That too. And nuclear testing is something that, at the time when we were doing above ground testing in the 1950s and 60s, we weren't aware of all the health implications that would happen for people like the downwinders when these particles were carried by wind across the desert, illness. And these people are still being compensated by an act of Congress.
The incredible effects on indigenous people as well.
Yeah.
Well, they're also still fighting too. All of them are.
Yes. And so we don't know what the impacts are.
And can I just say, when he was asked, why do we need to test these bombs? He said to make sure they work. He doesn't even understand what the testing is for.
Well, there was also pushback that other countries are doing this testing right now. And he was told that that's not accurate. My big concern is in 1992, we were a much smaller city footprint-wise, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in 1992, the outskirts of town was like Ann Road. Ann Road was beyond development. And now here we are 30-some years later.
Now we're building into Kyle Canyon and Red Rock, yeah.
We're almost right up against that area where the testing will go. And look, even if it's not nuclear testing underground, if they're making big boom boom underground, all those houses that were built in the last 30 years out in that area, they're going to get a stress test real quick. And, who takes care of all that? Plus, the infrastructure will also face challenges because it's been extended out that far as well.
Maybe
it's bad news.
They resume nuclear testing, we'll finally get a focus on infill and home building within empty lots within Las Vegas.
That's optimistic. Yeah. That is optimistic. I don't know.
Well, Nevada is still very purple. And I would imagine that this is not a popular proposal locally. Is this proposal enough to become a political talking point in the 2026 election?
Potentially, but I also feel like a lot of the things that our current federal administration put forward are not popular on the left or the right. I mean, I think abortion and women's health care and healthcare at large, too, at this point. Medicare and the ACA are great examples. LGBTQ rights, like these things are actually universally supported when polls are done. So I also have a hard time believing that like the libertarians of our state are going to be like, yeah, nuclear testing, let's go. Like, I just don't see it happening.
I think I think it's already become a talking point. I think that, as genuine, I think our Democratic delegation's concern is, I think they're also very aware that like things like Yucca Mountain are what do you call a political third rail. I think that is what actually derailed Sam Brown's campaign when he ran against Jackie Rosen.
Yeah, just the one misspeak on that topic.
He came out in support.
It hurt him. It hurt his momentum.
Meeting. Oh, absolutely. And so I think they know how much Nevadans care about nuclear testing, nuclear waste, and it is going to be it already is a talking point, is what I think.
But that's what I mean. Like both sides, left and right, say they don't want nuclear testing in the state. So it's another one of these issues.
But there are some people on the right who are looking at it as like, oh, look, it's jobs.
Quiet whispers.
It's good for the economy. We get paid. That sort of thing.
Well, there are some people on the right that might disagree with that. Like when we look at polling, again, with something compared to like women's health care and the right to choose, like these are things that are universally supported, despite the fact that they're being turned into partisan issues. The partisan nature of it is actually not there. It's the legislation making decisions that don't represent the will of the people.
Yeah, I absolutely could see it getting into the governor's race, though. Who will be the stronger one to stand down to the Trump administration that we are not going to let this happen again?
Interesting.
That would be very interesting. But also, look, I was around in the 80s and 90s here in Las Vegas when there were regular protests. We saw Martin Sheen all the time coming to town to protest nuclear testing specifically. And, that hastened the moratorium. And a lot of those folks, especially some of the leaders of the indigenous bands down here, aren't with us anymore. I mean, they were really at the front of this. And the question is, are those people who were so, blood and guts on the line, literally getting arrested 30 years ago, are they or they're, the people they've inspired around enough to drive it?
But I don't want us to even be asking these questions because this shouldn't be a question or an issue. Those people put their lives on the line 30 years ago so that we didn't have to return to this. And there's no reason we should be returning to this. Like it's utter nonsense and disrespectful to the entire population of Southern Nevada and this country.
That said, Martin Sheen, if you're listening, we need a president who can speak to the people. Come back. All right, let's move on to topic 3. This is mine. Even more flight delays. If going to the airport wasn't rough enough, look, we're in a shutdown situation. So our
federal government shutdown,
Federal government shutdown. So a lot of federal employees, including TSA, are not getting paid, but they still have to go to work.
More importantly, our air traffic controllers, the people who
and our air traffic controllers.
That's the terrifying part, y'all.
And so that was before the announcement yesterday that the Federal Aviation Administration is going to be looking at 40 airports and cutting their daily flights by 10% because they don't want to put people under pressure situations because that's when bad things happen. We just had a recent horrific plane crash in Kentucky. They don't want that pressure situation. And lo and behold, Las Vegas, Harry Reid International is on that list.
We made the cut, y'all. We're a big city.
Yeah, we're a big city. So while I'm sure that everyone is scrambling to figure out how to get those tourists to Las Vegas no matter what, because they are our lifeblood, especially as we're looking at things like F1, et cetera, right now people are in all likelihood going to be facing significant delays, if not canceled flights.
Cancellations.
And maybe with little notice at Harry Reid. I think it's going to be a little mess out there. What now is the big question? I mean, flying safety has been on a lot of people's minds. We've had some near misses and other bad things happening over the last 9 months. And, there are some direct lines to be drawn.
And holiday travel season is about to pick the F up. Oh my God.
3 weeks, we've got our historically most busy travel day. So
I've heard so much more from nervous travelers than ever before. My friends and loved ones who are nervous travelers already are now like in hyper freak out mode and don't want to travel at all.
I mean, listen, just the logistics of it. So a couple of days ago, even before this announcement, I was thinking, okay, like I have to fly to New York City at the end of the month for work. and I looked up train tickets because I'm like, what if these flights get canceled?
Oh.
It costs over $3,000 to travel 70 hours across the country by train. If I want a sleeper, if I want to sit 70 hours in coach, it's about $500.
You don't.
Like other people have clearly had the same thought. So like, what do I do?
It's driving up prices.
Yeah. And so do I drive? Do I drive across the country?
You need to rent a John Deere tractor.
There you go.
There's a David Lynch movie that lays out the entire framework. It's a really good one.
I do have a prediction. I do think that our highways are going to be super jam-packed, though, over the holidays. So I will say if anyone's taken the I-15 anywhere,
good luck.
Good luck.
Godspeed.
Pack some snacks.
All right. Well, now that we're all going to live at the airport, because that seems to be the handwriting on this wall, presumably Tom Hanks style, maybe?
Hey, the terminal?
What movie did Tom Hanks live in the airport at?
The terminal.
The terminal for years. He was a man without a country.
He ate ketchup packets. Remember that one? I just remember that detail.
No, I've never.
And he talked to a soccer ball. It became his best friend. Oh, no, wait, that's the other one.
That's the one I was thinking of. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
I've never heard of this movie.
He had no country to go to, so he had to stay. It's very convoluted how we got there, but the crux of the film was about how he survived.
He basically lived in
an airport for years.
And this is based on a true story.
True story. No, it's not a documentary. It's fictionalized.
Based on a true story. And we're all going to live at the airport now.
And we are all going to be living this reality.
I want to live in my home. I can just go home, David.
You want to go to New York, but you got stuck, and now here's the question for you.
20 minutes from the airport, I could walk.
No, it's too late. How are you going to spend all that extra time in the airport with the inevitable delays? Sonia, you first.
Oh, I'm chasing a 1-year-old around the airport. That is my nightmare, y'all. Like, she's missing her naps. We run out of food. I'm feeding her ketchup packets. We're just I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm worried about this holiday travel situation.
We don't have the most comfortable airport. I'm gonna say it. Like, I've definitely been in better. So I think I'm gonna apply for the fancy credit card. And like get in the Chase
Lounge.
the
lounges.
Oh.
Yeah.
They got like free M&Ms and stuff in there. So I think that's going to be the plan.
Living off of the M&Ms. Rob Cacciarese, our newsletter editor, and I got to do a fun conversation about all the cool stuff that's actually in the airport that you can take advantage of. So I would, including a bar that gives away freebies. So that might be a fun one for all of us. I encourage people to go track down that episode. We'll probably link it in the show notes. But I have two things that I would do if I was stuck in the airport under these circumstances. Number one, I would go over to the food kiosks or whatever, and I would go get stuff for the TSA people and for all the workers who are really stressed out. I would do my best to help make it a little more comfortable for my neighbors, especially the ones that I know weren't getting paid.
Are they allowed to accept food? From
I don't know. Well, I mean, if it's in
David's going to find out.
3 ounces or less, they can accept it.
Okay.
That was a good TSA joke, I thought. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, what are you going to do without Andrew to laugh at your jokes now, David?
Yeah, I know. I'm in trouble. The other thing that I would do if I was stuck in the airport, I would just start writing more. I would use it as my little writer's retreat.
But this is what I'm saying, David. As a writer, this is not a good airport to work in. Like, you've been in those terminals. There's nowhere to sit. There's nowhere to plug in, like, with your laptop. There's no lounges. But I will say, if I am in Terminal 1, I'm going to go to Terminal 3. Terminal 3 is definitely better. There's like the big atrium by the Starbucks.
Yeah, more light.
Still, David, there are some great airports to be a writer in, and the Las Vegas airport is not one of them. Yet.
I think they're coming around.
We got that big renovation coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been seeing more charging stations, but I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, Sarah. All right. Well, if you're listening to us right now in the airport because your plane has been delayed.
God help you.
God help you. And you know what? If you buy a small Starbucks and you send me the receipt, I will smile. I will not give you any money for that, but I will appreciate it.
They still have to buy a small, though?
Yes.
I was about to
say, the first one that comes to me, it's on me. I'll Venmo you, but I just don't know how I would even manage that. So all false promises, just like the FAA. God bless. Sarah and and Sonia, thank you so much for joining me on the Friday News Roundup.
Always a treat.
Thanks, y'all.
Well, before we go, Sonia, you have an update on your job and your replacement.
That is correct. So, as y'all who have been listening to the Friday News Roundup and reading our newsletter and following us on socials, which I know all of y'all are already doing.
You are moving away.
Mm-hmm. I am. My family situation has me based out in California. My husband's job is based out in the Bay Area. It is way too hard to run a show as rooted in localism as Las Vegas, as CityCast Las Vegas is from the Bay Area. So what that means is I'm moving on and I'm going to miss this incredible company, this incredible team, and my job is up for grabs. So if you would like to apply, head over to citycast.fm/jobs. The posting is up through November 17th. Go apply, spread the word, get that application in. I will just say these people I work with are some of the smartest people I know. They're incredible. They care about this city so much, and you will be so lucky to work with them.
Oh, thanks, nice, Sonia. And it's been great working with you. You definitely have shaped how this ship looks, and it'll be really interesting to see who the next captain will be. So if it's you, head on over to citycast.fm/jobs and see what it's all about. Hey, speaking of what it's all about, Sarah, we have some neighbors that's part of our membership program, and we want to shout out their picks because that's one of the perks of membership at membership.citycast.fm. So you got a few neighbor shout outs for us, Sarah?
Yeah, I love reading these, and I really love the first one I get to read too. Tony Jr. says the prime rib dinner special at Magnolia's restaurant in Fort Queens, which I always read in my head as Fort Queens, downtown is fantastic for the price. Includes a large slab of meat, plus potatoes, vegetables, and even a salad. Thanks, Tony Jr.
Old school Magnolia's.
Magnolia's. Yeah, I haven't been. Should go. Want that slab. Sandy A loves Juan's Flaming Fajitas. One of those is in my neighborhood. And I know for a fact that executive producer Sonia Swanson and her family also love Juan's Flaming Fajitas.
We do.
And our new executive producer can be neutral on Juan's Flaming Fajitas. But if
that
they
will
like
be one
it,
of the
that
interview
might...
questions.
Yeah. So what's your take on Juan's?
Do love those margaritas, though. And JN has some big love for the Silver Stamp. Another great one. Considered one of the best beer bars in the world. Who said that, JN? World, I accept it. Anyway, if you want to do a shout out to, and I love these food shout outs, go to membership.citycast.fm and become a neighbor today.
Thanks, Sarah. That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Our executive producer is Sonia Cho Swanson. Our producer is Layla Mohammed. Our roving producer is Zoe Culkin. Our newsletter editor is Rob Kacheris, and our hosts are Sarah Lohman and me, David Figler. Music is by OG Moose, Epidemic Sound, and All the Kimonos. We record this show on the traditional homelands of the Nuuvi. They're the Southern Paiute people. If you enjoyed the show, go tell a friend. You can also rate our show, leave us a review. It's been a while. We want to see a new review up there. And subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Las Vegas. Don't forget, you could support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Till then, stay lucky.